Today, CBC owes Covington Catholic boys an apology. Then, I explain why I'm not a heartless monster for not wanting to send money for every crisis. And consent needed for try on a hijab day? Yes, please. This is the Canada Poly Report. Good afternoon, everybody. This video takes all of the media's own talking points about what happened between the Covington boys and the Native American man who was banging the drum and shoves it down their throats. Because Nick Sandman, this guy right here, is suing all of the media who all happily climbed on board and said, isn't his face punchable? We should all punch him, dox him, find these kids, these evil, evil kids. This guy looks more evil than this guy, but whatever. Sorry for the pause face, man. But the point is, this is a very timely video. People are talking constantly about bias and censorship and just pushing a narrative, out and out making up the story that the media wants to go with. And this guy's complicit. And this whole video, the link is in the description, it's about 15 minutes, is so worth the watch. Please go check it out. It is the mode of operations for the media currently. They go with the storyline. If they can find somebody to corroborate that storyline, even better. And they go with it and they push it and they run with it. And no correction. And I'm glad that Mr. Sandman and his family are pushing back and going after these people with libel. Melania Trump has also been suing media successfully over misreporting and out-and-out lies being reported as well. But I wanted to just highlight and bring this to your attention. The CBC's reporting on this was just as ghastly, and I don't know if they're caught up in the lawsuit. I'm not sure at this point, but it is informative to watch this video to know what your media is up to. I'll have some other CBC links of their coverage of the Nick Sandman story, but I did talk about this in a video a couple of weeks ago when this whole thing first broke. So very interesting, very timely video, and well worth the time. Here is $53 million more to help Venezuelan refugees as Lima Group allies meet to discuss dictator Maduro. And this is CBC News reporting. The federal Liberal government is promising $53 million to help Venezuelans caught in a burgeoning refugee crisis as Canada plays host to its Lima Group allies in Ottawa Monday. Canada is stepping up ... to address the most pressing needs of Venezuelans on the ground, including the almost 3 million refugees, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said during his opening remarks at the summit in Ottawa. Canada has earmarked the new funds to help those Venezuelans who have fled to neighboring countries in recent months due to an increasing acute food shortage. The $53 million is an addition to the $2.2 million Canada has pledged already for similar efforts to help people grappling with the largest refugee crisis ever recorded in the Americas. Trudeau said the money would be distributed to trusted partners in the region to help them support Venezuela and Venezuelans. Okay, so these people have fled to neighboring countries, and we're going to give the money to trusted partners to help them support Venezuela and Venezuelans. Here's the problem. What happened to the aid money that went to rebuild Haiti? I think it was $9 billion. Here, I'll just read from this article. This is NPR reporting. After a devastating earthquake hit Haiti in 2010, governments and foundations from around the world pledged more than $9 billion to help get the country back on its feet. Only a fraction of the money ever made it. And Haiti's president, Michael Martelly, sorry if I've got that wrong, says the funds aren't, quote, showing results. Roughly 350,000 people still live in camps. Many others simply moved back to the same shoddy-built structures that proved so deadly during the disaster. Martelli says the relief effort is uncoordinated and projects hatched from good intentions have undermined his government. Quote, we just don't have the money. We just don't want the money to come to Haiti. Stop sending money, he tells Shorts. Let's fix it, he says, referring to the international relief system. Let's fix it. So our plan is to look at that and say, you know what we want to do? We want to send the money to some trusted partners down in Venezuela, and the trusted partners are NGOs, right? Non-governmental organizations that have access to our government money anyway. These people have just been opened up another $53 million, right? So these are new funds, but probably going to the same old groups, just so you're aware. Back to the article. Independent observations pinpoint Maduro administration's socialist price control policies, its restrictions on foreign currencies, US dollar mainly, and dramatic drop in domestic food production for widespread hunger in Venezuela, once one of the richest nations in South America. Canada's International Development Minister, Marie-Claude Bibeau, said Monday there are, quote, huge issues with having access to basic supplies. So many people are leaving the country. I'm very concerned about that. Foreign ministers from the Lima Group countries, Canada, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Guyana, Honduras, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, and St. Lucia, along with a handful of representatives from other nations, such as the United Kingdom, have convened in Ottawa to discuss further support for Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido. Guaido addressed the conference via video link Monday, praising Canada and the Lima Group for their support while asking partner countries to redouble their diplomatic effort to help loosen Maduro's grip on power. We are very close to reaching freedom, and that is the result of the international support we've received and the recognition of this process of respecting the rule of law and having a nonviolent approach, Guaido said in Spanish. Unfortunately, we're still under a dictatorship in Venezuela. That's why it's time to increase the pressure. To that end, Trudeau announced today that he will formally recognize Guaido's chosen envoy, Orlando Blanco, as the legitimate representative of Venezuela in Canada. For years now, we've witnessed the breakdown of democracy in Venezuela and a dictatorship willing to use force, fear, and coercion to retain power, Trudeau said. The violation of human rights and the complete disregard for the rule of law shown by the regime has been both inexcusable and unacceptable. And I'm going to say something here that I don't often say. I agree with Trudeau. Yeah, I agree with Trudeau. There's nothing really else to say. I'm surprised it's taken this long, but he pretty much breaks it down there. We've seen a dictator rise and a dictator willing to use force, and I'm glad that the countries are coming together to do something about this. That said, I still am not happy with sending $53 million to NGOs to somehow help Venezuelans in Venezuela, quote unquote. I'd much rather have a coordinated response of some kind rather than just throwing money at this problem. It doesn't really work. Here's just a quick primer on what's happened in Venezuela from the CBC article, and just in case you don't know, it says protests have erupted across Venezuela since Maduro began his second term on January 10th. He was elected last year in a vote Canada, the US, and other nations deemed illegitimate. Guaido has since declared himself interim president. Canada has joined the United States, the European Parliament, and several Latin American nations in recognizing Guaido's claim. Russia and China, which have invested heavily in oil-rich Venezuela, support Maduro, as does Turkey. So there you go. There's the battle lines. Well, there's the ally lines anyway. That's what countries are aligned with. So interesting times. And I certainly don't wish the people of Venezuela to starve or anything to that effect, but it doesn't seem that sending money is really the best way to help a country in need. Not even in like one of the top 3 best ways, right? Just like mass bringing the third world to Canada doesn't fix the third world. All it does is empty it of population in which they replace because we're sending money. It's a false solution. It doesn't actually work. So I'd rather do something that worked. The last story today is Faith Goldie reporting on her Instagram. Miss Evans' grade 6 class was sharing pictures on Instagram of World Hijab Day in 2019. And it says World Hijab Day was celebrated today by grades 4 to 6. And there's pictures of kids wearing hijabs. And Faith Goldie's description says, these pictures were taken at the W&G Public School in Fort McMurray, Alberta. A dad of one of the girls pictured has confirmed the photo's validity. He is outraged at not being asked permission. Putting little girls in hijabs is un-Canadian, and doing so without their parents' permission is unethical. Please seriously consider homeschooling. And that's Faith's message, not mine. But that's an interesting turn of events to have that happen and not have parents aware of it or ask permission. What do you think, my viewer? Do you think that this would require permission? What if this was a Catholic religious event and you were not Catholic, right? If they said, oh, just try and have this body of Christ, which is just a bread wafer and this a little bit of wine. Go ahead, it's fine. Okay or not okay? Is that the same, or am I making a false comparison? You decide. I'm just spitballing here. So I think that's very interesting. I looked for the original tweet, and here's the Walter, here's the public school, and here's the Miss Evans grade 6 class, and the tweets are protected. I was not surprised when I saw this. It's not surprising, but it's very interesting, a very interesting turn of events. It seems that Canada is changing at a fast pace, and there needs to be a conversation. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you like the new intro. Thank you to the people who helped put that together, and I appreciate it. I think it's pretty cool. So I'm going to probably keep doing it. I hope you guys like it too. Let me know in the comments. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks for watching, everybody.